And you handled the business. Huey Magoo's make someone smile today.
The weather is heating up, and the deals are even hotter at Mazda of Jackson. Right now at Mazda of Jackson, you can drive home your dream Mazda with low financing rates available. 2.9% for 72 months on most models, or finance 36 months and pay just 0.9%. That's right, 0.9%. Experience Mazda's exhilarating performance, top-notch safety, and reliability. It's time to choose Mazda. Shop online at MazdaofJackson.com or visit Mazda of Jackson, I-55 Frontage Road in Jackson. When you feel like your business is drowning in paperwork and compliance issues, it's time to call PeopleLease. Let PeopleLease take care of the busy work so that you can save valuable time and focus on what really matters, growing your business. PeopleLease is based in Ridgeland, so you're always dealing with local professionals who will actually understand your business and its needs. Join thousands of satisfied clients who trust PeopleLease to simplify their employee administration. Visit PeopleLease.com. That's PeopleLease.com to learn more.
What are people saying about Tom's Fried Pies in Richland?
I'm on a diet. I don't want to be down there at Tom's Fried Pies. We had a good time. When I tell you the crust was flaky, I'm talking about buttery. This was nothing like I've ever tasted. Ever. I mean, I've never tasted anything like that, man. It was nice. Atmosphere was nice. Everybody there was nice. Because I'll be back, even though I don't supposed to with my diet. I thoroughly enjoyed myself.
Tom'sFriedPies.com. Tom'sFriedPies.com.
Your pie in Gluckstadt is adding to the family. No, not like that. It's the new Pizza Shop sandwiches, like the Italian featuring pepperoni, ham, bacon, black olives, feta, mozzarella, red onion, and that secret ingredient,
oregano. You mix in something called oregano. Oh, oregano.
Some tasty chicken creations, too, like the chicken bacon ranch, served with house-made jalapeno ranch. And as always, express your inner pizza, too. Your Pie Gluckstadt, across from Germantown High School.
If you ever been stuck on the side of the road with engine trouble or because of an accident, you know how frustrating that can be. I'm Chad Stevens of Chad Stevens Record Service. We'll help take some of the stress out of the stressful situation. We've been rated by AAA as one of the top 10 towing services in the entire USA. Why? Well, just ask our customers. So keep our number in your cell phones and call us if you need us. 662-755-8645. That's Chad Stevens Record Service. 662-755-8645.
You know what's a nightmare? We've all seen that movie where the bad guy's coming and your gun jams up. Luckily, that's just a movie, but you can't take the chance it could happen to you in real life. Hey, y'all, I'm Therese Apel from Dark Horse Press, and I've written stories about a whole lot of situations where people needed their gun to work for them. So if yours is moody or likes to jam, you need to take it to Guns and Gear. Let their professional gunsmiths look at it and fix it so it'll work when you need it. They're the absolute best at what they do, and that's why I buy all my guns from them. That's Guns and Gear in Gluckstadt. Check them out today.
Welcome back to the Chip Matthews Show, and here is your host, Chip Matthews.
And good morning, everybody. Welcome back. We've got the audio fix. Different people. We got so many different people going in here now, pressing the buttons and this, that, and the other, messing up the world. But anyway, it's all, and that one I'm probably going to blame on the Democrats. Democrats.
Yeah, that's what we should do.
Socialists. That came in here.
Socialists. We can blame it on socialists.
Because I came into the radio station this morning and it was dark, completely dark. And normally there's a light on.
Yep.
One light on.
Yep.
And it was dark.
Okay. We got them all on there.
So let's get back to it. We got you there. We got me there.
Mm-hmm.
And when Clay gets here, he'll show me how to put us both on the screen again.
Oh, am I not on the screen?
No, when I press this button, you are.
Well, see, you can be on the screen. I don't care. It's a lot less pressure to be on the radio if I don't have to put on makeup and deal with all that stuff.
I see that.
Can you tell?
Yeah.
Well, I actually have makeup on today.
Stunning
so
HD.
This is not.
Okay.
People can probably go through and see the days for it.
Anyway, people, as you're out there today, it's going to be another beautiful day. And lately, it's been kind of hot outside. Have you been outside during the daytime?
Oh, yeah.
Or do you sit inside to keep the sun off of my southern skin?
Excuse me. I am a 1980s sun worshiper. I tan still.
Okay.
Wait, summer's not here yet. I haven't been to the coast very much on the weekends yet.
See, I'm an Indian. The woo-woo Indian, not a dot.
I spent summers at the YMCA in Clinton and on the lake in Atlanta. So I mean, I tanned all summer.
I knew a
I
girl
don't
at the
believe
Y. I
that.
used to go see a girl over there named Millie.
The Clinton YMCA back when it had a high dive and all that back in the old days. You know, they filled in that pool.
Millie and Angel. Two girls I met along the way.
This was in
that would drag me across town to go look.
To go look.
Well, you know, you're 18. I've been 18 now for 44 years, 45 years now.
That was probably, if you were 18, I was 8. So yeah, that was about the time I was around there.
I wouldn't have seen you. I wouldn't have been looking at you.
No, you wouldn't have.
No.
I used to ride my bike from Northside Drive.
But
to
I think of all the
YMCA.
girls when I was very young that I gave a dime to and said, call me when you're ready to go out.
Chip.
And so now
all those girls are still carrying around the dimes. Did they put a
got-
C on? Did they put a C on it to be a
put a
chip
C.
so they'd know that it was? it
Yeah,
came
and then
from
you're
Chip?
looking at that dime and going, well, the phone call jumped up to a quarter pretty quick.
Yeah. it
And
did.
then back then, the call from Clinton to Canton,
Right.
that's long distance. In-state long
It was.
distance.
I remember that.
I mean, y'all remember?
You had to dial an area code.
Y'all want to know where the world has improved but not improved? You know, if you think about it, at one time your phone bill at the house was $10 or $15, unless you did the long distance.
I know.
And then they worked on it to where now they have us on a cell phone, and everybody in the house has a cell phone.
Right.
So now your phone bill is $200, $300, $400, $500.
Right.
And that's that.
I remember the first time staying up all night with a boy on the telephone.
Oh yeah.
And wondering for like a week after that if I was going to get in trouble, if it was extra, if I'd used up all the minutes on the home phone line, or if I could just talk to
I mean,
someone.
and you'd sit there and you'd look at the and you wake up, you got the Princess phone all wrapped up under you. See,
the Princess of
Slimline.
Yeah, no.
But see, I grew up in a house to where in the hallway there was one phone with a long cord on it, and it was the old school big phone
table. Yep.
Oh, yeah.
See, we had one on the wall in Clinton. I remember the cord was up high, and it.
You had the one with the crank.
One of my grandfathers had one of those. He had one of the old timey telephones, but no.
Reminiscing about growing up in the phone because my grandmother kept on, and then our phone number in Canton was 859-4111.
Wow.
And you know why it was that number?
No.
Because when they first got phone service into Canton, the phone company was in our house.
I knew it was going to have something to do with you running into town even back then.
And the operators were in our house growing up.
See, I knew it was going to have something to do.
And
there you go.
And then my grandmother's house, it was a very large house. And so upstairs was like the Canton High School was open across the street from us. So you had teachers like there was Miss Wynn who taught forever, and some other teachers that lived upstairs in our house as boarders.
Wow.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
And that was back in the day. And I mean, you just never knew who was going to be in our house. And we had a nursery school inside our house where you had all these kids come in and stay.
Lord, no wonder you're so got stuff all over the place doing restaurants and radio and campaigns. Your house was full of
it was full of
a bunch of it.
But as I recall,
going
on East North Street, everybody's house was full of activity. Everybody's. I mean, at the end of the street was the Republican and Democratic Party presidents for the state.
Yeah,
and there was all kind of stuff going on. You just don't know.
Yeah.
You know, Canton was a great place growing up. I mean, our street alone was insane.
Yeah, no, I don't remember that from Clinton. And I mean, I had a set of grandparents that lived on the same street. So, I mean, I had one down the hill and one up the hill, and we didn't have that much action going on in Clinton.
It all went on in Canton. And then you'd go to the square. The square was completely full of businesses. And as a young kid under 10, nowadays you wouldn't have a kid under 10 walk the square by themselves.
Well, I was just telling you, we left Jackson when I was 12. So I was riding from Northside Drive to YMCA on a bike.
And see, our family had a grocery store in the Hollow on Hickory Street, which that's kind of the black community,
right?
Okay, You had the square and you had that. So I would leave and go check in at all they would keep up with it for my grandmother.
Yeah.
They would keep up with me walking from store to store, because I didn't just walk from store to store.
You
I went
visited.
in each one and as a little young guy, and would ask them
visited.
how their business was doing. And they would have, since I wanted coffee, but they would but I put so much milk and sugar in it that they would just have me a little thing of chocolate milk, and I would drink that, prop my foot up on the heater and act like I was one of them, and I'd talk to them, and then I'd go to the next building. And I did that all the way down till I got to our grocery store. And then when I went to the grocery store, I would fix the cans on the shelf
and make sure that they were.
And then I would draw the labels for my grandfather, because I couldn't read. I wasn't old enough to read yet. So I would draw the labels to show my grandfather what we needed to order. And it was funny. And then you had all the bottles.
Right.
Then I learned it. And then I messed up because I learned that you could take the bottles and get money for them. You got a nickel a bottle. Okay. So we had thousands of bottles in our store because they were ours to carry back.
Right.
But then there was a D&D grocery store down the road. And then there was the Chinaman, they called it the Chinaman store. It was Canton Market.
Right.
And that was just the way it was back then. And I decided that I would take the bottles from our store and go sell them at the other store where I could have some money in my pocket. Not realizing that I was doing the wrong thing, but that was growing up.
Well, you were a little guy. You gotta make money.
But I mean, Canton was a great place. You had a grocery store on the square, Mays grocery store, and I'd get with my buddy Lee Riddell and them, and we would all Danny Spivey, all of us, we would all play football and all that in the yard.
Right.
Then we'd go up to the square, and then when we went up to the square, we went to Mays, and we would always Lee would always say, "Put it on my account." Put it on my account. He does the same thing now.
Can we get like good old days back like that again?
Yeah, and like
for kids actually play outside instead of.
Irene Jackson's talking about, you had layaways at Ward's, you had Smart Shoes in Canton. That's now a lawyer's office. Stanley's, bologna sandwich. We did bologna sandwiches in our grocery store on Hickory Street. You'd come in there, and the guy in the back, the butcher's name was Boo. Boo. And he would cut you'd say, cut that. And then we had Velma was the lady that ran the grill inside there, and she'd cook you a foot-long hot dog, or she'd take you a bologna sandwich and pop it on the grill and heat it up, warm it up, toast that bread and put that mustard on it. Bologna sandwich. Yeah, I miss those days. And then Anita Ford's talking about
bologna.
Me too. Taylor and I rode my bike or walked to YMCA also.
Oh.
That's what Anita says. And we lived in Northeast Jackson, walked to school at Chastain.
Yeah, I was at.
Yeah, this was the town, Canton and Jackson and all that. That's what we grew up with.
Yeah.
We can get that back if we put the right people in office.
We can.
People remember when it used to be something in all these cities.
Well, I mean, it's an attitude though, in a lot of ways, that if people want that back, it's very easy to get it back. We've just got to stand up for things that matter and start.
You tell people it was like Mayberry, and they go, yeah. I know there was a lot of other problems going on back then. The political landscape. But for us as kids growing up, that's what we saw.
Yeah. Well, and we've got kids too stuck inside on iPads and that kind of thing. I remember Wanda was doing a show on she was talking right before she ran for supervisor, Wanda Evers on her station. And somebody called in and was giving them a hard time about spending money on parks, because right when the supervisor's election happened, 2 years ago, I guess it was now, there was a lot of talk about money that was supposed to be going into the parks in Jackson that had gotten basically hidden in a closet by the old supervisors.
Well, look, in Canton, they have built, I don't know.
Somebody called in and said, well, we don't need to worry about parks. We can't even get our kids off their iPads inside. And I'm like, exactly. That's why you need the parks. Kids have got to get outside and get off of
and parks need
these
to be
devices.
They need to be in safe areas in neighborhoods. Kids don't need to find somebody to drive them to the park. The park should be in their neighborhood.
Yeah.
And in Canton, we have a park that is, I would say it's a long way from the neighborhood, but let's just say it's been there for a while. And every time you turn around, they need another $1 million to work on something in the park.
Yeah.
The park looks pretty much, well, it's got fences around it. When I was a kid, there were baseball fields out there, but there was no fences around them. Now
Right.
they got the fences and this and the other, but we put $1 million into that park
And
every year or two, it seems.
right.
And it for no good. They even went out there and took the basketball goals down at one time. And you just go, what are you doing? Well, there are people out here playing basketball.
Well, that's what they're supposed to be doing.
Excuse me.
I think
You put a basketball goal up, people are going to play.
I think you just touched your problem, that it's incompetence at the leadership level.
Okay, so Jimmy Rogers doesn't remember Smart Shoes. Smart Shoes was in the middle of the block. And then he remembers buttresses on the square, and TWL. I remember when the TWL in Canton was Ben Franklin's. And then we also had a Sterling's on the square. Yes, sir. And let's see, picnics and with surveillance cameras and ready to ride bikes again with y'all in Taylor. Yep.
Yep.
Come on. We need, can we still ride bikes? Can you
I
ride
have a bike.
You have a bike?
I have a bike.
Do you use
it's
it?
in my living room. I'm about to get back on it because I need to get this thigh built back up.
That's sort of like I have 2 gym memberships.
Well,
I pay my membership, and that's all it's required of me.
I have a high priority bike. It doesn't have an actual chain.
They do not ask me to come to the gym and work out. They just ask that I pay the bill. Okay.
Yeah, and if you are paying the bill and not going to the gym and working out, that's your own fault.
No, that's not.
Because you're paying the bill.
It's responsible to always pay your bills.
Yeah, but if you're paying a bill for something you're not using, you need to exit it and go get your bike and just take a ride outside.
I'll think about that. Let's take another break. We'll be back right here on the Chip Matthews Show with Chip Matthews and Taylor Turcotte right here on WYAB. Right here on the Chip Matthews Show with Chip Matthews and Taylor Turcotte right here.
1039 WYAB.
B-Dubs cocktails, pretzel knots, and mozzarella sticks. It's all on me today.
Oh, so you're happy hour rich when the happy hour menu is only $3 to $6 from 3 to 6 p.m.
$3 to $6. That's crazy.
You know we're at happy hour right now from 3 to 6 p.m.
It's happy hour crazy.
We were here yesterday too.
Crazy.
Quit playing. I'm gonna let you pay though.
Food, beer, and cocktails for $3 to $6 from 3 to 6 p.m. Buffalo Wild Wings for the greatest of all times. Monday through Friday only. Beer deals available all day at participating locations. Taxes and fees apply. Dine in only. Drink responsibly. Offers vary by location. Void where prohibited.
Why should you choose Ceramic Air Conditioning and Heating for all service or installation? Well, they purchase all parts directly from the manufacturer. All of their factory-trained technicians have been hand-selected for skill, work ethic, and experience. There are never any hidden fees or charges. Ceramic Air Conditioning and Heating is dedicated to your complete satisfaction, and they're family-owned and operated. For residential and commercial service or installation, contact Ceramic Air Conditioning and Heating, 601-317-0729, or make an appointment through their Facebook page.
CBS News Brief. President Trump is defending his tariffs amid fears of a shipping slowdown. CBS's Carter Evans visited the largest port in the country.
Almost half of the production at the Port of L.A. could disappear in the coming weeks if something with these tariffs don't change.
The Postal Inspection Service has reportedly joined the president's crackdown on immigration. CBS's Vicki Barker.
The Washington Post calls that a new departure for the post office and one that dramatically broadens the scope of President Trump's mass deportation campaign.
The Supreme Court hears arguments today on a plan to create an online Catholic charter school. Correspondent Jan Crawford is in Washington.
This is a potentially landmark case that basically could reshape the future of public education and pave the way for taxpayer dollars to go directly to religious charter schools.
CBS News Brief. I'm Deborah Rodriguez.
Dr. Mike Stonington here from Stonington Farm Grass-Fed Beef. We are grass-fed and grass-finished beef. No hormones, no antibiotics, no grain, no broad spraying of herbicides or pesticides. And never, I mean never, do we use mRNA vaccines. We are 100% local and 100% Mississippi. Our calves were born in Mississippi, raised on Stonington Farm, and processed in Mississippi. Contact us at StoningtonFarm.com. That's StoningtonFarm.com with 2 N's. We are the grass-fed difference.
Hello, I'm Gary Jolly from the Tractor Store. LS Tractor understands your passion for the land, and just like you, LS Tractor is committed to excellence and superior products. LS Tractor comes with a long list of standard features that are unmatched by other brands and backed with the LS commitment to provide exceptional customer service and satisfaction. You get a lot more for your money with the LS Tractor. Come to the Tractor Store in Richland to experience the LS difference. The Tractor Store in Richland.
The Chenault Aviation and Military Museum is proud to announce the return of the Red, White, and Blue Air Show to the Monroe Regional Airport May 2nd, 3rd, and 4th. Enjoy an amazing show with heart-pounding performances by the U.S. Air Force F-35, U.S. Army Golden Knights, Randy Ball, Ghost Rider, Titan Aerobatic Team, and more. There'll be planes on display and helicopter rides. May 2nd and 3rd, gates open at 3 for amazing evening and night shows. Sunday, May 4th, gates open at 11 a.m. for thrilling day show. Visit Explore Louisiana to plan your trip today and buy tickets now at redwhiteandblueairshow.com.
Hey, everybody, it's John at Two Gun Tactical. We're having Kim Wade Wednesdays at both locations. So you come in and mention Kim Wade on a Wednesday, you get half-price range fees. Hey, if you're a member, we're going to give you an extra free target just for mentioning Kim Wade Show. Come on in and work on your shooting and exercise that 2A right that if we don't fight for it, we won't have it much longer. It's twoguntactical.com. That's the number 2, guntactical.com.
And here's your host, Chip Matthews.
And we're back on the Chip Matthews Show with Taylor Turcotte. And, of course, we've been reminiscing some today and hadn't been talking. It's sort of like being like Trump last night, reminiscing over his first 100 days in office
100 days.
And all the great things he did
Yes.
in those first 100 days. I can't wait to reminisce of my first 100 days in office.
You know, I thought about that. You asked me yesterday, what am I going to do in my first 100 days? And the only thing that I can come up with is I think that I'm going to be thinking on my feet a lot.
Yeah. Well, I would say, the easy thing
It's
is
going to be a big mess.
The easy thing is getting the grass cut, the streets cleaned.
Yes.
That'll
be the easy. The hard's going to be the kids.
That's something to be on top of. But we got to fix these cities.
We do.
This election is about, and I was talking with Tim Taylor last night. It's as we sat there, and Tim Taylor's who I'm running against, by the way, y'all, for mayor.
Yes.
And we were talking to each other, and people were talking, and then people have been requesting the viral video that went out by William Truly, where he was basically, he didn't like the fact that we all got along.
Oh, yeah.
He didn't,
Oh, yeah.
And, he was calling people names and this, that, and the other, and said that people are up to other things. Why can't people get along when they want to get along?
Well, why do you have to fight just because you're on two different parties? Because honestly, I mean, I know why we do, because they keep us now. But
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, if you really look, if you took me,
Right.
and then you took, say, let's just say one of the ladies that was with the sorority at
Right.
Jackson State that put on the form for the
Right.
city council. You stick one of those ladies and me side by side, one of which I know is a friend, so I can say this
Okay.
truly, is that there's not much difference between our values.
Okay.
Honestly.
You're not allowed to use the name Truly on my radio
Well,
show. Okay.
honestly,
Okay.
yeah, I said that and I thought I
'Cause
don't mean the thing.
See, honestly, you will not get any
Yeah.
complaint out of me because
No.
Truly is not honest. But
No,
anyway.
no. But I mean, if an average everyday Democrat on the street in Jackson, Mississippi, and an average everyday Republican on the street, our values don't.
Our values are the same.
Exactly the
we're
same.
Christians. We want the right thing. We want our neighborhood clean. We want the right things.
Yep.
And that's
Yep.
what's happening in Canton. And
Mhm.
I remember when Tim and I used to argue a lot, but we found common ground. And that's because he realized that I don't hate him, and he realized that he doesn't hate me. Because
Right.
once you know somebody, you
Right.
don't hate them anymore.
No.
And that's just the way
No.
it is. And in Canton, we've been working hard on with the politicians. Now,
Right.
and I guess I don't consider myself a politician because I've never won. Does that
Right.
make sense?
Yep.
But
we're not really politicians because we're not
But
being
with that-
put in. We're not
but-
being installed with money and said, here's this wad of money if you'll run.
okay.
It's more of we need money.
Okay.
What are you looking at?
I'm looking for something I got to read on the air for something.
What? We can't waste time with dead space while you're.
Okay, but I mean,
they need to
you
get it
could-
in
you could be-
soon.
You could be talking.
Okay.
Okay, you through talking?
We're in the middle of a conversation. You just floated off.
Okay, anyway,
Come back, Chip. Come back.
I'm okay. I want to remind everybody of this. And Dawn McKenzie sent this in. She's out at Rattlers Fair.
Rattlers. Oh, for the
first.
Yes.
She's having a crawfish this
A
weekend
crawfish
to
bowl this
benefit.
weekend.
It's a competition, and it's to benefit the Children's Hospital.
Okay.
She's got a lot of great sponsors on there.
Yeah.
She wants you to come on out Saturday, May 3rd. That is Saturday, right?
That is Saturday.
Okay, and they'll have crawfish live music. The music will be 2-lane highway from 2 to 6.
Okay.
And sound check, that's the band.
Okay.
They call it sound check. From 8 to midnight.
Okay.
Out there at the Rattlers Ferry trading post. And this is budding and bowling and good times to benefit the children of Mississippi. And it's $30 to get in.
Okay.
And all the crawfish you can eat.
Right.
That's not.
Good. I mean,
that's a good deal.
that's a good deal.
Yeah,
that's a really good deal.
Mm-hmm. So interesting. But anyway,
don't get on out there and do that. That sounds like fun.
I have so many new people trying to friend request me.
Wow.
And I'm at 5,000. So you got to like the page now, the Chip Matthews Show page.
Yep.
Or the Taylor Turcotte page. You have a Taylor Turcotte page.
Yep.
And
I'm having.
Do you have pictures on your page? OnlyFans link?
No.
Okay.
No, and that's becoming a little bit of a problem because I tend men. All of the friend requests are men that I don't know, and I'm not interested in dating anyone. So it's kind of like, if y'all are interested, I don't know how to distinguish between the guy who's hitting on me because everybody's dating on Facebook, and who's wanting to
Everybody
engage.
is not dating on Facebook. There's probably bots.
Well,
And there are people,
I'm ignoring them now.
and people recruiting
Just
you.
follow my page. I'm not really taking on friends
'Cause-
unless I know
'cause
I've
they-
met you and
They
we're being
all
friends.
try to recruit
Just
me.
follow me.
There are so many.
I'm sure.
I've noticed so many women from the Ukraine that want to marry me.
Yeah.
It
Sharon's
just-
gonna love that, isn't she?
I
She
just
might.
sit there and I go,
She
delete, delete, and you have to
Uh-huh.
delete them because if you accept them, then all of a sudden some girl from China is going,
Yep.
I want you to meet my dad, Kim Jong-il.
No, I just really you have. Well, no, I'm not deleting them. I'm just not paying attention anymore.
Well-
If I see that we have a whole bunch of friends in common, then I'll. But yeah, I feel you.
But anyway, or just send me a private message where I'll know who you are.
Yep.
But then again, in some of those
I
private
don't check
messages,
those either.
and some of those are kind of risky to open
I've
too.
gotten to where I just turn them off. I
Yeah.
just turn it off.
Okay, remember coming up at 7:00 this morning, Clay Edwards show, the Clay Edwards show
Mhm.
at 9:00. It's
9
Mike
o'clock.
Madison today.
Okay.
Then at 10:00, it's the one, the only, the Jameson Haygood,
Right.
and his baseball program.
His baseball program.
No, I'm just kidding. He played baseball, college baseball.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah. He doesn't like.
Okay.
He doesn't like to brag on himself.
He doesn't.
But I mean, he could play. He could play a little baseball.
Wow. Okay.
He-
Okay.
I think he could pitch left-handed and right-handed.
Oh.
No, if he could have done that, he'd be in the
He'd
majors.
still be playing. Okay. See how much I know about sports. I would have fallen for that one.
I figured you would have. He played with Pete Rose. Okay, you almost fell for that one.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
But he not.
I did not.
But
I'm getting
Jameson
better at my
Haygood in the
blindness.
good fight, and he'll be telling you and connecting the dots and talking
He
about the
does.
first 100 days.
He does.
And then, of course, coming up at 4:00, the one, the only Radio Strongman, Kim Wade.
Right.
will
Was
be on.
listening to him last night.
What would he say?
There's a lot. That's something I do need to mention. Jacksonians for Jackson is doing another forum, and it will be on. I will have to find that and pop. We'll have a break. I'll pull that up.
Irene Jackson just hit me up saying she was single.
Yeah. There's a lot of us single ladies out there. Stay.
Single lady.
I want a Friday night happy hour where we can all be home by like 9:00. A ladies' night out that starts at 4:30 and is done by 8. Anyway.
most guys, that's about what time. See, the President Trump. Let's talk about that for just a second. President Trump was giving $5,000. It says that we're going to give $5,000 to ladies that get pregnant.
Okay.
Now, some people look at that as, well, that's welfare. No, it was something that he was thinking off the top of his head. He goes, how can I get men going out with women again? Rather than men going out with men and women going out with women.
Right.
That makes sense to me. I'll pay them. That way they'll get together.
A lot of the countries in Europe, I know that back Vladimir Putin was actually installed in Russia because they noticed that the nuclear family was dissolving in Russia.
Well,
and they make it very friendly. Like you get big tax breaks if you get married and have children. You get big tax breaks.
And the only place where you don't get tax breaks is China because they got too many people.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and in Japan, it's like 1.6 kids are born.
Right.
So they got all these 0.6 kids running around China. Japan. No,
0.6.
0.6. How you like that?
There you
But
go.
anyway,
There you go.
anyway, they don't have enough, and then the birth rate here in America is down. And then the COVID vaccine, when it was released, I honestly believe it was to take the population down. And of course, what's his name?
It was down to 330,000. 330 million was what they were, 33 million, something like that.
And then that idiot that Bill Gates.
That's who I'm talking about, Bill Gates.
He wants to reduce the size of the world where there's enough air for him. He needs enough air for him. And we need people calling.
And he owns how much of the farmlands in Mississippi and Louisiana?
Exactly.
And let's not forget that he was also going to reset. They had a whole global reset plan for us. And we didn't even realize what was going on before it almost hit us. They were going to reset our table. You remember when they were trying to get us to eat bugs, and when they were wanting us to eat soy burgers? All that was going to be resetting our table, resetting the way that we ate food.
But the reality is, you know, in Mississippi, we ain't eating bugs.
There's no.
If the worst case scenario is we will be growing some turnip greens. We'll grow some peas, some corn.
I live a mile outside of downtown, and I've got a garden in my backyard that I could have fed myself with.
And you also
in Mississippi, we have plenty of ground to grow.
There's plenty of dead deer up on the interstate. You can get one every day. You can't. You don't have to go hungry.
No. You don't have to.
Yeah, we're in Mississippi.
The only reason that I eat deer is because my grandfather said we can either kill them and eat them, or they can starve and die in the woods alone. And I was like, okay, I'll eat the stew.
I'll eat
I'll eat the deer stew. Anyway, the final mayoral face-off for Jacksonians for Jackson is going to be Thursday, May 8th. So that's next Thursday at the Jackson State University E-Center from 6 to 8 p.m. The E-Center is over across from
on McDowell Road.
Yep.
Or is it Raymond Road?
I don't know what road it is, but you basically can see the building from the interstate across from Metro and all that. So, but it's 1230 Raymond Road in Jackson.
Raymond Road. Okay, so what time is that?
6 to 8 p.m.
So you won't need your vest until you come out of the meeting.
Look, it'll be fine. I'm sure that we'll have plenty of people. I mean, y'all, Jackson's not that they don't come.
You can't
to events shooting it.
Do not tell me Jackson is not that bad.
Jackson is not bad enough to where we have a meeting at 6 from 6 to 8 that you're gonna have to worry about getting shot or getting robbed out there. You don't have to worry about any of it.
They killed people last week at 4:00 in the afternoon.
I realize that.
It never stops. And that's why we got to change everything. That's why you got to go vote.
That's true.
I'm tying that into you got to go vote. If you don't go vote,
that's true.
We're not going to get rid of this violence.
Yep.
Because these kids have got to be controlled, and so do these guns. And I'm not saying gun control. I'm saying responsible gun ownership. So, for instance, if a 14-year-old owns a gun, they don't own a gun because that's illegal. They're not supposed to. And if they're out driving around driving around in a car, that's illegal. They don't have a license.
It is. And there's several reasons that they could be in that car doing that. And we've got to straighten out all of the issues so they don't have a foothold to run in.
And then you have to worry about, we don't get numbers on all the rapes and everything going on in Jackson, but if you're a 14-year-old with a gun, no telling what is occurring, really. I mean, it's hard to believe it's a place that people don't want to go.
I know,
but you've got to say that it's occurring.
Oh wait,
it's occurring. You're scared of the person.
If it's occurring in the Yeah. If it's occurring in the upper middle class families, which I think that it is, it's occurring for the poverty ridden families. I'm sure
it's occurring.
I'm sure our children have got a lot of
everywhere, and kids, they got new Michael Jordans. They got a Gat gun, and
all teachers do is talk about sex.
And they drive in a stolen car. Yeah.
In Mississippi.
Yeah. They got
students. We're here. It's just, I'm not sure where I saw it yesterday, but we've got teachers in Mississippi talking to children about being gay.
Right. And then we were talking about what it was like when we were growing up.
We were.
This is the world they're growing up.
I know. They're growing up in a world of action where they talk about sexual action. Whereas when we were in school, we talked about sexual parts and how to make babies, not about the action of, and that's what they're doing with children. They're introducing children to the thought of having sex, not of babies and children. Right. And that they're leading them into the thought of, I can have sex, when they shouldn't be. That should be something that someone is introduced to through their own mind and their own thoughts and their parents, not at school.
Right. Let's take a break and be back right here on the Chip Matthews Show on WYAB with Chip Matthews for mayor and Taylor Turcotte for
City Council, Ward 7, Jackson.
There you go. We'll be right back. Matthews for mayor and Taylor Turcotte for
City Council, Ward 7, Jackson.
1039 WYAB.
Hi, folks. Kim Wade here. Mississippi Energy Services provides generators. That's right. You may not need it now, but when you need backup power, you need a backup power generator from Mississippi Energy Services. Never again have to worry about being without heat, air conditioning, or all your frozen items spoiling because your energy was lost. You got backup power now, and it's so reliable. You'll be pleased with Mississippi Energy Services. Online at msenergy.us.
Attention homeowners and business owners. Complete Exteriors is now Elite Roofing and Gutters. Are your roof and gutters storm ready? The folks at Elite are your local experts in storm protection. Now is the time for an inspection and for proactive solutions that ensure your roof and gutters can withstand any storm. Get up to a possible $250 rebate on a new roofing system for all active military, veterans, and retirees. Online at eliteroofer.com.
Pet emergencies don't wait, so why should you? At Urge Vet Emergency Vets of Madison, we offer low wait times and cutting-edge technology to provide fast, expert care for all household pets. Our hours of operation are weeknights 5 p.m. to 8 a.m. and 24 hours on weekends and holidays. Our phone number is 601-790-1918 and follow us on Facebook and Instagram. Because when it comes to your pet's health, trust the team that's fast, reliable, and compassionate.
Pops Auto Sales on Highway 49 in Florence is where you come to buy quality cars, trucks, and SUVs. Priced to fit your budget. At Pops Auto, we specialize in trucks. From four-wheel drives to diesels, our satisfied repeat buyers know Pops has one of the largest truck inventories for any independent dealer, period. Browse Pops inventory at popsautosales.llc.com and get pre-approved for a zero down payment with approved credit. With warranties and service contracts available. Pops Auto Sales, your home for trucks. Highway 49 South in Florence. Get the jump on the season at the #1 stop for all your boating and custom water sports needs, Smith Marine. Crest Pontoons are here. Come experience luxury and style with a 90-day, no payment, no interest financing option with approved credit. Plus a 1-year CTO membership, free cover, free Bimini top, and free inflatable tube. And these crests are pre-rigged with Suzuki motors and Suzuki's industry best warranty. Smith Marine also buys quality pre-owned boats with consignments and trade-ins. On the res in Ridgeland and at smithmarinesales.com.
Your roof is constantly exposed to the elements, battling dirt, algae, and stains. But with Watkins Construction and Roofing Roof Wash Service, you can keep it looking like new. A proprietary rooficide treatment is EPA approved, safe, and guaranteed to prevent algae from coming back for at least 2 years. No harsh chemicals, no damage, no black streaks. Just a clean, beautiful roof that lasts. Call Watkins Construction and Roofing at 601-966-8233 or visit nomoreroofstains.com today.
Why don't you mind your own business?
Mind my own business? What's that supposed to mean?
No, I was just thinking about all of the news of tax changes, insurance changes, regulations that are being passed down to business owners. I don't have the time to keep growing and to keep up with changing payroll regulations.
I know. It seems like all I do is handle employee-related problems.
You know, I hear People Lease can help.
How can they help?
People Lease can handle our payroll, taxes, employee benefits, and workers' compensation. They even offer an affordable and customizable 401k program and a 24/7 online human resources support center for all my HR needs.
Think of all the time we'll save letting People Lease handle our payroll and benefits administration. I'll be busy growing my business and letting People Lease take care of the rest.
Sounds like a good business plan with People Lease.
Let People Lease mind your business so you can mind your own business. Call now, 601-987-3025. That's 601-987-3025. Or visit freepayrollquotes.com for your free quote.
We're in Mississippi. Should be.
Welcome back to the Chip Matthews Show, and here is your host, Chip Matthews.
And we're back for our final segment here on the Chip Matthews Show. Remember, coming up at 7 o'clock, or rather right after the news, the one, the only, Clay Edwards Show, right here on WYAB. Well, we got about a minute and a half.
Okay.
So we won't get into anything important. Once again, y'all, follow the news in Canton. We will keep you up to date. We'll keep you informed. Once again, the breaking news, they'll be talking about it at the top of the hour on the news, is of course, Canton has challenged another election. That's not really breaking news, but it does keep us
it's kind
in step with what we always do.
It's like when they lose, they turn around and try to scream what we yell at them when they cheat us.
And then in this case, it is a Democrat versus a Democrat.
Right.
And
they cheat themselves. Let's not forget David Archie.
But this was the situation where, the Blackmans were trying to make sure they got control of the mayoral race.
Imagine a Mississippi where the grassroots Republicans and the grassroots Democrats hook up and take over the state.
Exactly.
Imagine a world.
It could happen.
There are plenty of grassroots Democrats
that are becoming. They're becoming Republican rhinos.
Well,
look at the 10.
Well,
you had 10 transfer this year. We ain't got much.
I'm talking about normal people. I'm talking about everyday people on the street.
Oh.
I'm not talking about people who are becoming politicians.
Well, okay.
Yep.
Anyway, that's going to do it for us. She is Taylor Turcotte. Say goodbye.
Goodbye.
I am Chip Matthews, and I'll be back tomorrow morning bright and early with 6 with Taylor Turcotte.
I will be here as well.
And we will see you then. Clay Edwards is next right here on WYAB.